Hi guys, today I will be sharing how to make chocolate mousse cake. For the ingredients we need half a cup plus 1 tablespoon of sugar, 25 ml of milk, 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon of cake flour, 20 grams of cocoa powder, 20 grams of butter, and 3 eggs. Combine the milk and the butter, melt it in the microwave and set this aside. Combine the cake flour and the cocoa powder, mix and then set aside. Crack 3 eggs and then add the sugar. We will beat this using an electric beater. The hot water is optional, but having the hot water, making the eggs at room temperature creates more volume and makes the beating process quicker. So we're gonna beat the eggs and the sugar for about 8 minutes until it is light pale yellow and the volume doubles up, just like this. Now we're gonna sift in the cake flour and the cocoa powder mixture. I will just gonna beat this using an electric beater just for a second, and then I'm gonna finish the mixing process using a spatula, because we don't want to deflate all the air that we work hard for. And now we're gonna gently add in the milk and butter mixture. By the way, before starting to make this, preheat your oven at 170 degrees Celsius. I have an 8-inch round cake pan lined with parchment paper at the bottom and on the side. We will bake this in a preheated oven at 170 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes or until when you insert the toothpick in the middle and the toothpick comes out clean. Let it cool down completely. And then now we're gonna move on to the mousse. This recipe and procedure is inspired by Anna Olsen. So this is 1.5 cup of whipping cream, and again another 1.5 cup of whipping cream, half a cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of water, and 12 ounces of dark or semi-sweet chocolate. This is 45% cocoa solids. First thing we need to do is to chop up the chocolate into small pieces so it's easier to melt. At this point, I'm warming up my cream in the microwave for about a minute, and then I will just pour it on top of the chocolate. And then just mix it, making sure that all the chocolate is dissolved. Once all the chocolate is dissolved, we will set this aside and move on to the next step. So combine the sugar and water, and then we will let this cook until it reaches 250 degrees Fahrenheit. While the sugar syrup is cooking, beat the egg yolks just to break it up. If you don't have a thermometer, it took me about 8 minutes 30 seconds to reach the desired temperature of. Pour the sugar syrup slowly into the egg yolks. The sugar syrup should be hot straight from the stove, so it will cook the egg yolks. And then we will continue to beat this until the egg yolk is light pale yellow and it has cooled down slightly, just like this. At this point, we can add the ganache. And then we will just mix this or fold this until they are well combined. We will set this aside and move on to the next step. So this is the other 1.5 cup of whipping cream. So we're just gonna beat this until it reach soft peak stage. Just like this. Fold the whipping cream into the ganache egg yolk mixture. I'm just checking the temperature of the ganache egg yolk mixture, making sure that it's not hot or else it's gonna melt the cream. Now we're gonna gently fold the whipped cream into the ganache. Personally, I don't like to over mix this, so it doesn't matter if I have some lumps of whipping cream. I just want my mousse to be very light. And now it's time to assemble the cake. Cut the cake in half. So we're gonna have 2 thin layers of cake. I've got a springform pan here that is slightly bigger than my cake. So pour half of the mousse into the springform pan. Then add half of the cake. Just like so. And then pour the rest of the chocolate mousse. And then the other half of the cake. Now we're gonna cover this and let it sit in the freezer for about 6 hours or overnight. It needs to be frozen. The next day, 1 cup of whipping cream and 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, and this is optional, the glucose syrup. So I'm just gonna combine the whipping cream and chocolate and melt this in the microwave for about a minute. And this is the glucose, which is half a tablespoon. Glucose syrup is optional. You don't need to put it if you don't have it. It just give it more shine. And now this is the mousse and the cake. To unmold it, just like what Anna Olsen did, she used hair dryer. So I'm doing that as well. So you're just gonna warm it up just until the frost on the cake or the springform pan is gone. And then do it on top as well. Make sure that your ganache has cooled down, and then just pour it on top of the mousse cake. Let the excess ganache drizzle on the side. If you miss some spot, just use the ladle to fill up the gaps. With the ganache that is falling from the cake, you can reuse it. And this is the finished product. Put it back in the fridge until you need it. It needs to thaw out a little bit. I hope you give them a try. This cake is really good. I can guarantee you that. So I'm cutting the cake after resting for about 30 minutes, so it's not yet fully thawed. So this is what the cake looks like when it's not fully thawed. When you eat it, it tastes like ice cream at this point. But after about 3 to 4 hours, and you cut it, this is what it's gonna look like. It's so light and it's so good. This is something that you make, and if you serve it, you will be very proud. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.